In this video, we'll be taking a look at two NFL games happening on September 25th, 2022, and providing you with team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these two NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Green Bay Packers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Green Bay Packers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers meet Sunday in Week 3 NFL action at Raymond James Stadium. The Green Bay Packers look to get a game above a .500 record. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers look for their first 3-0 start since the 2005 season. The Green Bay Packers have lost 4 of their last 5 road games. Aaron Rodgers is completing 69.5% of his passes for 429 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Sammy Watkins and Aaron Jones have combined for 176 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, while Romeo Doubs has 6 receptions. The Green Bay Packers ground game is averaging 157 yards per contest, and Jones leads the way with 181 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, Green Bay is allowing 16.5 points and 311.5 yards per game. Devondre Campbell leads the Green Bay Packers with 15 tackles. Preston Smith has 2 sacks and Jair Alexander has 1 interception. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 7 of their last 8 home games. Tom Brady is completing 59% of his passes for 402 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Mike Evans and Julio Jones have combined for 201 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, while Breshad Perriman has 3 receptions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers ground game is averaging 112 yards per contest, and Leonard Fournette leads the way with 192 yards on 45 carries. Defensively, Tampa Bay is allowing 6.5 points and 276 yards per game. Devin White leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 19 tackles. Shaquille Barrett has 2 sacks and Jamel Dean has 2 interceptions. The Packers are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 road games and 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games overall. The Buccaneers are 11-3 against the spread in their last 14 home games and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The under is 9-3 in Packers' last 12 games on grass. The under is 8-2 in Buccaneers' last 10 versus National Football Conference. The Packers are 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 meetings in Tampa Bay and 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 meetings. This is the most highly anticipated game of the Week 3 slate as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Green Bay Packers. It's Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. What more could we ask for as football fans? For a few reasons, I think Rodgers will get the better of his rival this time. For starters, the Bucs will be without receiver Mike Evans here after he was hit with a 1-game suspension for his involvement in a scuffle with Marshawn Lattimore last week. That's very bad news for a Tampa receiving core which already has Julio Jones and Chris Godwin dealing with nagging injuries. The Packers got their butts kicked by the Vikings in Week 1, but how many times have we seen them get off to a slow start and then look just fine? They looked better than just fine on Sunday Night Football against the Bears last week, dominating them in a 27-10 win that could have been more lopsided if not for a couple of miscues. Rodgers averaged 9.4 yards per attempt in that game, and Aaron Jones rushed for 132 on the ground. Tampa Bay's defense looked great last week, but that was against an injured Jameis Winston. Rodgers is a big step up in competition, to put it mildly. Brady really struggled last week against New Orleans, and it gets tougher now without Evans in the lineup. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have possibly the best defense in the league, and they should be jacked up with this being their first home game of the season. However, the Buccaneers offense has yet to really get going through 2 games, and now they'll be without their best receiver in Evans. The Green Bay Packers looked more like the team we expect to see last week, and we know it's only a matter of time before Rodgers finds a rhythm with these new receivers. I don't like leaving points on the table with Rodgers, and it's probably easier here seeing Tampa Bay look so sluggish offensively. So the Green Bay Packers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Oddsmakers might be overcompensating for the loss of Mike Evans and the lack of explosiveness of these offenses so far. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are still two of the best quarterbacks in the game, and I expect them to put on a show. Green Bay's passing game looked just fine without Davante Adams last week, and things weren't nearly as bad as they looked in the Minnesota game. The injuries to Tampa's receiving core have caused this line to be set too low, and I don't expect this Packers defense to be anything better than an average unit this year. Even against an anemic Bears offense last week, they allowed David Montgomery to average over 8 yards per carry, so it wouldn't be a surprise if Leonard Fournette breaks out for the Bucs. The week before that, Green Bay got shredded by Kirk Cousins as Justin Jefferson torched their secondary for 184 yards. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. San Francisco 49ers versus Denver Broncos. The San Francisco 49ers and the Denver Broncos meet in a Week 3 NFL matchup from Empower Field at Mile High on this week's edition of Sunday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers will look to build on their 27-7 win over the Seattle Seahawks last time out. Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown for 154 yards and a touchdown on 61.9% passing, while Jeff Wilson Jr. and Deebo Samuel each have 100-plus rushing yards this season. Brandon Ayuk also has 103 receiving yards to lead the 49ers receiving core this season. On defense, Talanoa Hufanga has a team-high 17 total tackles, including 14 solo tackles, while Nick Bosa has a team-high 3 sacks. And the 49ers as a team have 3 interceptions this season. The Denver Broncos will look to build on their 16-9 win over the Houston Texans in their last game. Russell Wilson's thrown for 559 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception on 58.9% passing, while Melvin Gordon 3 and Javon Williams have combined for 223 rushing yards so far. Courtland Sutton leads Denver's receiving group with 11 grabs for 194 receiving yards, while Jerry Jeudy has 113 receiving yards this season. On defense, Alex Singleton has a team-high 14 total tackles, while Bradley Chubb and Dre'Mont Jones each have a pair of sacks so far this season. When you have a team on the rise like the San Francisco 49ers facing a Denver Broncos team that has looked like hot trash through 2 games, my inclination is to quote the old adage of one man's trash is another man's treasure. Everything about the Broncos seems wrong right now. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett looks completely overmatched as a coach. The team is taking a lot of bad penalties, and this offense hasn't scored more than 16 points against 2 of the league's expected bottom feeders. They may be 1-1 on the season, but they are 0-2 against the spread, and this offense looks dull and lifeless. Taking them as a Sunday night home dog would be crazy, right? Meanwhile, the 49ers are coming off a huge, emotional win after having lost Trey Lance for the season to a broken ankle. Jimmy Garoppolo came riding in like a white knight on his steed to lead the 49ers past the Seahawks 27-7 in a good, old-fashioned beatdown. And therein lies the issue with taking the 49ers. You still cannot ignore the road team's struggles with the altitude in Denver early in the season, and let's face the facts. Seattle is not a good team. The Seahawks offense routinely struggles and stalls, while their defense looks incredibly porous, particularly up the middle. Let's not sell Russell Wilson and his weapons too short this week while riding too high on the Jimmy G bandwagon. This is one of those matchups and point spreads that screams for the public to take San Francisco, but we won't. So the Denver Broncos to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. While everyone loves a good hero story and will focus on the 49ers facing their old nemesis, Russell Wilson, this game is going to come down to coaching and defense. Given what we have seen from Nathaniel Hackett's and Justin Outten's offense thus far, it is difficult to imagine the Broncos putting up a ton of points against a 49ers defense that is loaded with talent in the front 7 and has allowed the fewest passing yards per game through the first 2 weeks of the season. Russell Wilson is going to have to dig into his past, the one that had him winning 10 of his last 11 against them, in order to score. As for the 49ers offense, we have seen them beat up on Seattle against some of the better defenses. However, they are obviously unproven. We also need to understand that there is some scheme revamping that needs to be done. It's not as simple as just going back and doing what they did last year, although they will certainly try. Deebo Samuel will maintain the wide back role, as Jeff Wilson cannot handle the full workload and be successful. We also need to see what weapons are available. If George Kittle remains sidelined, this offense lacks the firepower it needs to ring up a ton of points. The under has hit in all 4 games for these 2 teams this year, and we're going to let the trend be our friend. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.